Can a woman still be close to God without following the traditional roles of wife or mother? This video explores faith, identity, and freedom through a powerful lens. If you've ever questioned where spirituality meets individuality, this message is for you. Watch now and see faith beyond the expected. Welcome to Cosmic Axis, a space where we explore deep questions that matter. Today's video asks, can a woman be close to God and still choose a different family model? Whether you're walking a traditional path or forging your own, this reflection is for you. If this topic inspires or challenges you, please like, share, and subscribe to Cosmic Axis for more thoughtful, soul-stirring content. Your journey is sacred, no matter the shape it takes. Let's dive in. In American Christian culture, the nuclear family, typically consisting of a married man and woman raising biological children, has long been idealized as both a spiritual and social cornerstone. This model, reinforced through church teachings, media portrayals, and cultural narratives, is often seen as the God-ordained structure for moral stability and divine favor. Evangelical sermons frequently cite verses like Ephesians 5 and Proverbs 31 to define gender roles within family, placing emphasis on male leadership and female nurturing. For decades, this framework was rarely questioned, seen as essential to a well-ordered society. However, sociologists like Stephanie Kuntz have pointed out that the nuclear family ideal, while powerful in American imagination, is more a product of 1950s post-war economics than timeless biblical truth. Psychologists today also argue that clinging rigidly to traditional roles can result in emotional suppression, particularly among women who feel called to different paths. As mental health awareness rises, many faith-based counselors are helping families explore spiritual well-being beyond rigid structures. While tradition holds deep value, the growing diversity of family models among practicing Christians suggests that God's presence is not confined to a single blueprint. The real question becomes less about form and more about the presence of love, mutual respect, and spiritual growth within any chosen structure. This long-standing association between godliness and a woman's domestic role has meant many to internalize the belief that spiritual worth is measured by how well she fulfills expectations as a wife or a mother. Yet spiritual intimacy, according to theologians like Richard Rohr, is not rooted in social roles, but in the heart's orientation toward the divine. As more women in American society delay marriage or choose not to marry at all, the question arises, does this shift imply distance from God or simply a redefinition of closeness? Faithful women, single, divorced, widowed, or childless, continue to serve, pray, teach, and lead in ways that bear deep spiritual fruit. Psychologists like Dr. Kristen Neff emphasize that spiritual well-being often flourishes when individuals embrace their authentic selves, free from imposed labels. Within many church circles, there's growing recognition that devotion, compassion, and inner transformation are truer measures of faith than marital status. Women who nurture communities, care for the vulnerable, or live contemplative lives demonstrate that spiritual closeness is dynamic and personal. God meets people where they are, not where culture expects them to be. In this light, roles become vehicles, not prerequisites, for divine connection, opening the door for broader inclusion within the spiritual journey. Across American history, numerous women of deep faith have lived outside the bounds of traditional family life and yet walked powerfully with God. Figures like Dorothy Day, a Catholic social activist and single mother, devoted her life to serving the poor while challenging both societal and ecclesial norms. Protestant missionary Lottie Moon, who remained unmarried, left behind wealth and comfort to live among the Chinese, offering education and the gospel with unwavering commitment. In modern times, countless women serve as chaplains, theologians, non-profit leaders, or community caretakers, finding spiritual fulfillment outside the roles of wife or mother. Their lives suggest that calling and connection to God can manifest through service, solitude, or scholarship. Psychologist Dr. Carol Gilligan notes that women often define identity through relationships, but not always through romantic or parental bonds. Instead, through empathy, purpose, and community. These examples complicate the narrow view of what a faithful life looks like and challenge the cultural tendency to equate traditional domesticity with holiness. Religious tradition, when viewed through a wider lens, reveals a rich history of women who walked with God through non-conventional paths that were no less sacred. Such lives encourage the broader understanding of divine purpose and spiritual identity in today's evolving society. The ministry of Jesus offers a striking contrast to the cultural norms of his time, especially in his interactions with women who existed on the margins of social and religious respectability. He spoke openly with a Samaritan woman at the well, despite her complex marital history and social stigma, offering her not judgment, but living water and spiritual revelation. He honored Mary of Bethany's desire to learn at his feet, an act traditionally reserved for male disciples, affirming intellectual and spiritual equality. Women like the hemorrhaging woman whom he healed publicly, and the woman caught in adultery whom he defended from violent punishment, show how Jesus dismantled shame-based systems and instead restored dignity. Modern theologians highlight these moments as radical redefinitions of worth based not on societal labels but divine image. Psychologically, this aligns with humanistic models that suggest healing begins when individuals are seen and heard without condition. In a contemporary American context, where faith often intersects with gender politics, these scriptural examples continue to resonate. They remind us that divine favor is not bound to social conformity. Rather, Jesus consistently affirmed that spiritual connection transcends tradition, calling forth the individual heart, especially when it seeks truth beyond the boundaries of expectation. In recent decades, the American social landscape has witnessed a marked shift in how family is defined and lived. Women of faith are increasingly embracing life paths that include single motherhood by choice, co-parenting without marriage, and deep spiritual lives without romantic partnerships. Sociologist Bella DePaulo has documented the rise of chosen families, where emotional bonds, not legal ties, form the foundation of support systems. These evolving models often reflect not rebellion, but a pursuit of authenticity, emotional health, and purpose. Within religious communities, some women find that their devotion to God deepens through the very independence and resilience their non-traditional paths require. Psychologists like Dr. Susan Newman have also noted that single-parent households, when grounded in love and emotional stability, can produce children who are secure, empathetic, and socially strong. Religious frameworks that once strictly equated holiness with traditional marriage are slowly expanding to acknowledge these alternative realities. Some churches now offer blessings for adoptive parents, support for divorced women, and space for unmarried professionals in ministry roles. These developments highlight a broader truth. Family, at its core, is a place of love, sacrifice, and care, not merely a specific structure. Faithful women living these models continue to embody values that reflect God's compassion and justice in modern American life. As these alternative family models gain visibility, faith communities across America are responding in varied and often complex ways. Some denominations, particularly progressive Protestant and mainline churches, have begun to embrace these shifts, emphasizing grace over conformity and relationship over ritual. They offer inclusive language in sermons, pastoral support for single parents, and ministry roles for unmarried or divorced women, reflecting a theology centered on love and justice. On the other hand, more traditional or evangelical groups often remain cautious or resistant, concerned that embracing non-traditional roles could dilute scriptural authority or moral clarity. This tension reveals deeper questions about how faith communities interpret sacred text in light of modern realities. Psychologists like Dr. Brené Brown argue that belonging rooted in authenticity, not in performance, produces the healthiest spiritual environments. In many cases, internal church debates mirror broader societal shifts, where the call for inclusion challenges long-held doctrines. Some congregations are splitting over these issues, while others find renewal in honest dialogue. These differing responses show that the church is not monolithic, but evolving, wrestling with its identity in a changing world. For women navigating new family paths, the reaction of their spiritual communities can either deepen their sense of divine belonging or push them toward spiritual solitude. In the end, a woman's spiritual journey is shaped not by her marital status or family structure, but by the sincerity of her heart, the depth of her faith, and the choices she makes in alignment with divine wisdom. Whether she walks the path of singleness, parenthood, career, or contemplative solitude, her connection with God is neither limited nor lessened. Studies in spiritual psychology affirm that personal faith flourishes most when it is rooted in autonomy and self-awareness rather than obligation or societal expectation. American women across generations are learning that their value in the eyes of God is not contingent on fitting into a mold, but on walking faithfully in the truth that has been revealed to them. Whether she prays at a kitchen table with toddlers at her feet, leads a nonprofit from a downtown office, or quietly journals in a sunlit apartment, her nearness to God is real and powerful. As religious thought evolves, so too must our understanding of how diverse and secret a woman's walk with God can be. Thank you for watching this video. If this message resonated with you, please give it a like, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thoughtful content. Stay inspired and stay true to your path.